If I'm being honest and I'm looking at what it means to be getting sober or being in early recovery in the middle of COVID, I have no idea. I know that there are a lot more challenges than there used to be. There's something about community and human connection that, in my mind, is fundamental and instrumental in the transformational process of going from somebody who's in an addicted state to a person who is a person in a state of recovery. That almost never happens in isolation. I can't even imagine for myself, when I'm a person in recovery, what that would have been like to kind of like try to do that in quarantine. You know, I mean, I'm sure it could happen, but I just kind of couldn't imagine it because my experience of recovery, as is, you know, I think most people, is that something that we do with other people. And so it's so challenging. And the other piece that's challenging is a lot of people have crashed and burned their lives. And they're trying to rebuild their lives and get sober at the same time. As you know, that process is kind of one and the same. And to rebuild your life in the midst of so much uncertainty and with very little opportunity, you know, economically speaking, like there's just less jobs that you can do. It's terrifying. Kind of like, oh, I'm trying to rebuild my life, but like, where am I going to work? What am I going to do? Like, you know, and so I think there are just all these mounting challenges for people that are getting sober right now. And the largest, you know, support system for people getting clean outside of, you know, treatment is Alcoholics Anonymous. And the meetings, most of them aren't in person anymore. So they're on Zoom. So you got, you know, 30 people, like the Brady Bunch, you know, on the screen. And I'm sure there's some benefits to that, but mainly deficits. It's just easier to check out, easier to disconnect from your program, easier to isolate. You know, people have too much time. There's just a lot going on that makes recovery very challenging. And on the treatment end, it makes treatment very challenging. You know, I see it as part of my mission to try to take people from an addicted state to a sober state, to a sober state of integrity, to a sober state of integrity and productivity of working in the world. And that last phase is very hard right now. You know, I don't know exactly what a lot of people are going to do, so it's hard for me to have a lot of confidence and faith that I can give to another person to figure it out, because I'm still like, well, what exactly are they going to do? Like, oh, this person's a musician, but they can't do what they normally do, or this person was, you know, works in restaurants, but, you know, there are no restaurant, you know, whatever that is. So, you know, I find it incredibly difficult. I've been impressed with the people that are getting sober. There was one person I was working with, and he relapsed. He went through our program. He actually works as a nurse, and so he's working on the front lines. And he relapsed, and he came back to our program. And I blame he couldn't get the support from our program while he was being a nurse, except via telehealth, because he was too exposed to COVID. We couldn't have him at our treatment program. It was too high risk, you know, because he's front line, which was horrible. But, you know, you have to make these tough decisions. And so when he came back in, I said, listen, I feel so bad that you couldn't be part of this community and get the support that you needed, you know, to stay clean when you transitioned, because you worked really hard at getting clean while you were here. Excuse me. And he said, you know, to be honest, it wasn't that. I really kind of just fell off my program. And I thought, wow, you know, really impressive for that person to be able to kind of distinguish, you know, what was his and what was COVID and this and that. It's tough stuff, and, you know, honest, you know, people can help each other get through this.